Good day everyone. So today we're gonna talk about Rankine cycle. Well, what is Rankine cycle? The Rankine cycle is an idealized thermodynamic cycle of a constant pressure heat engine that converts part of heat into mechanical works. It is named after William John Malcolm Rankine, a Scottish polymath and Glasgow University professor. He developed a complete theory of the steam engine and indeed of all
Okay, let's
heat
talk about
engines.
basic cycle of Rankine cycle. The fundamental operating cycle of all power plants, particularly that use Rankine cycle, where an operating fluid is continuously evaporate and condense. The selection of operating fluids depends on available temperature. There are four substantial processes in Rankine cycle. First process, where the high pressure liquid will be poured into the boiler from the feed pump and will be heated to a certain temperature, yakni unsaturated. The liquid will start to evaporate if further addition of energy which turns the liquid into saturated steam. The second process, the steam will pass through to the turbine where eventually causing the turbine to spin and produce electricity energy. In practice, expansion of steam is limited by temperature of cooling medium and by the aeration of the turbine blade. The vapor steam quality shall be greater than 90%. The third process is that vapor and liquid mixture will be leaving the turbine along the pipe, where theoretically it will be condensed at low pressure by the cooling water. For well-designed condenser, the pressure of the vapor must well below the atmospheric pressure. The last step of four substantial process is that the pressure of the condensate is raised by the feed pump. As the low specific volume of the liquid, the pump work is relatively small and often neglected in thermodynamic calculation. Jose.
Here are the ideal Rankine heat cycle diagram for entropy and pressure versus volume. Based on the diagram, from stage 1 to B, the working fluid is heated until it reaches saturation in a constant pressure process. Stage B to 2, once the saturation is reached, further heat transfer takes place at constant pressure until the working fluid is completely vaporized. Stage 2 until 3, the vapor is expanded isotopically through a turbine stage to produce work rotation the staff. The vapor pressure falls as it passes through the turbine and it exits at the low pressure. Stage 3 to 4, the working fluid is routed through a condenser, where it condenses into liquid. Stage 4 to 1, the working fluid is routed through a condenser, where it condenses into liquid. Now let's look at the Rankine cycle general equation. The first equation is the steady flow energy equation. In the Rankine cycle, due to kinetic energy and potential energy is too small and can be ignored. Thus form the general equation as shown in last equation. Q stands for heat flow, W as work done, and the H is specific entropy. Now look at the equation throughout each stage. First, at the boiler stage, liquid water enters the boiler and is heated to superheated stage in the boiler. In this stage, only change water to steam. There is no work done. The energy balance is Q intake equal to H2 minus H1, where H2 is entropy of steam and H1 is entropy of water. It always in positive value to indicate it was supplied. Second, at turbine stage, negating heat transfer with the surrounding, thus Q is 0. The energy is work done by turbine equal to H2 minus H3, where from H2 which refer to high pressure, high temperature to H3 refer to low pressure, low temperature. H2 always larger than H3, thus create positive value. Third, at the condenser stage, steam from the turbine is condensed to liquid water in a condenser. The energy balance is Q output equal to H3 minus H4, where H3 is steam, H4 is water. Last at the pump stage. Pump liquid from condenser to boiler. Assume no heat transfer to surrounding. Thus Q equal to 0. The energy balance is work done by pump equal to H1 minus H4, where H1 water under compressed pressure and H4 water under normal pressure. Now look at how to calculate thermal efficiency of Rankine cycle. The thermal efficiency of the Rankine cycle is determined from net work output divided heat flow intake, where net work output from the cycle is equal to work done by turbine minus work done by pump. But in ideal situation, to drive a pump is very small, so work done by pump is ignored. So efficiency is equal to work done by turbine divided by heat flow intake.
I will explain the real Rankine cycle or non-ideal Rankine cycle. In a real power plant cycle, the compression by the pump and the expansion in the turbine are not isentropic. In other words, these processes are non-reversible and the entropy is increased during the two processes. This somewhat increases the power required by the pump and decreases the power generated by the turbine. In particular, the efficiency of the steam turbine will be limited by water droplet formation. As the water condenses, water droplets hits the turbine blades at high speed, causes pitting and erosion, gradually decreasing the life of turbine blades and efficiency of the turbines. The easiest way to overcome this problem is by superheating the steam. As you can see from the TS diagram, state 3 is the border of the two-phase region of steam and water, so after expansion, the steam will be very wet. By superheating, state 3 will move to the right in the diagram and hence produce a drier steam after expansion.